Just an Ocean was recorded in 1978, but only finished and released more than 40 years later, when it was rediscovered by ABBA themselves. What's the story of this redemption? Let's talk about Just an Ocean.
Just an ocean.
Hey! So, this video is the start of our new little series, a look into ABBA's rediscovered outtakes. And by that I mean rediscovered by ABBA themselves, songs that were redeemed by ABBA in the course of the decades. When it comes to unreleased material, ABBA are very careful and consistent. Over the years, we only got a handful of songs from the archives, but whenever they were rediscovered, it seems that ABBA were particularly proud of them and confident. And one of the best examples is their latest redemption, the release of Just an Ocean on Voyage, more than 40 years after the song was recorded. Not only did they include an outtake on an album, something they have never done before, but they also chose this track as the ultimate single to promote the album, 3 weeks before the album's release. So what made them change their minds? How did they become so fond of this song? If we trace the story back, we will see that they never entirely lost faith in that song. It was recorded in 1978 during early sessions for their upcoming 6th album Voulez-Vous. By pure coincidence, this was one of the rare occasions when they had a reporter in the studio, which gives us some insight into the recording session and process of a song that would become an outtake. According to those reports, Agnetha and Frida recorded one phrase over and over again for over 1 hour. Apparently it was the phrase "right for me and you." These exact words are actually not in the song as we know it, so it either is an early lyric or the reporter was referring to the actual final line, "the night for me and you." Those sessions were stopped and they recorded another song, "The King Has Lost His Crown." Just an Ocean had a classic 1950s style. A few weeks later, they had a new song, which also happened to have some vintage vibes. Angel Eyes, according to Benny, harkens back to the 60s, and it seems that this was what they preferred back then, since it became the substitute for Just an Ocean. Instead of continuing to work on Just an Ocean, they never touched this song again at the time. Intriguingly, in one of the new quotes about the song, Björn said that back in the day, they played it to a publisher in France and to other people they trusted, and everyone liked it very much. For reasons long forgotten, ABBA decided against it and left it unreleased. In fact, it was never even mixed at the time and simply left as a rough recording on the multitrack tape. I wonder if that's how they presented the song to those people, or if they did a preliminary mix in 1978 that we don't know of. The recording lasted for 4 minutes. In 1994, this recording was rediscovered and they actually planned to release it in full length for their new box set Thank You for the Music. As far as we know, this is when they mixed it for the first time, but they were never satisfied with this final mix. Despite that, they still seem to have been confident enough about the song as such, and so they released 1.5 minutes of it as part of ABBA Undeleted, an amazing collage of 23 minutes of outtakes. 5 years later, they gave permission for a tribute band called Arrival, which recorded Just an Ocean as a full song based on ABBA's template. It was released on Arrival's first album and also as a single. But we are lucky that this was not the final road of this outtake. 20 more years later, the time was right to revisit the song by none other than all 4 members of ABBA themselves. They brought it out from the archives and created a mix of newly recorded elements together with elements of the original recording. Benny recorded an entirely new backing track with additional drums and guitars as well as saxophone. This is actually one of the rare photos from the Voyage backing track sessions. The vocal tracks are those from 1978. Comparing it with the snippet from ABBA Undeleted, the vocals are mixed differently. Agnetha is more upfront on some of those lines. Listen to this excerpt of isolated vocals, which reveals some glorious high notes, wonderful backing harmonies from Björn and Benny, but also that metallic sound, as Björn describes it, which is created by the amazing blend of Agnetha and Frida's voices.
Just an ocean, but somehow I know I'm not wrong. There's something happening that I just can't explain. If I try, it's all in vain, because it's just an ocean.
I feel that this new recording has a lot of drive and moves constantly forward. It never stops or lacks energy. Towards the end, it leads to an unexpected ending when the rhythm changes for a moment and some very special vocals fly in. Many people were convinced from the beginning that these vocals are brand new vocal recordings from the Voyage sessions. I personally believe that we have new vocals at the end. Just recently, there was a new comment on one of my videos regarding this subject. Mad Spiral wrote that if you analyze the isolated vocals, it really emphasizes that there are indeed new vocals, the giveaway being Frida. The lower tones of her voice have evolved with age, and this coda enables us to hear the vocals of Frida today, not of 78. So let's listen to this coda, to these isolated vocals.
I think it's more than an ocean.
I've got to say, Agnieszka's vocals at the end are extremely high, reminding me more of her voice from 1978. But on other songs from Voyage, she also has incredibly high vocals on some of the harmonies. And when it comes to Frida's voice in this snippet, I tend to agree with Mad Spiral's observation that this is her voice from today. It's especially prominent on the line "more than an ocean", with the emphasis on the last word. Listen again. So my personal assumption is, and has always been, that this new coda uses new vocals from Agnieszka and Frida. They re-recorded the entire backing track, used the old vocals, but possibly wanted to also use some new vocals, so that all 10 tracks on Voyage have new contributions from all 4 members. We have conflicting opinions and no confirmation about this coda, and hopefully one day we'll find out. What is obvious is the fact that this song really seems to have been important for ABBA over the years. I don't think any other ABBA outtake has had so many attempts of being released. Also, as far as I know, this is only the second time ever that they continue to work on an old recording and release it. The only other time I can think of is Crazy World, which was recorded in 1974 but picked up 2 years later during sessions for Arrival, only being released as a B-side. And of course that is still a huge difference to the gap of over 40 years. Today, Björn says about Just an Ocean that it is ridiculously happy and that it hopefully will cheer us up in these dark times. When I heard this new version for the first time, so close before ABBA would release their very first album in my lifetime, it did cheer me up all right. I was ecstatic and hooked by the tight production, the revamped driving sound of the new backing track, the honky-tonk beat, and Benny's beautiful tinkling piano. I was thrilled with the new vocal mix and emphasis on harmonies that we didn't hear before, and of course listening to new verses from this song that we've known as a snippet for so long. But I was also enchanted by the lyrics. They somehow reflected my own inner state of excitement. Just a funny feeling deep inside that you're out there waiting. There's something happening that I just can't explain. It is our destiny, there is nothing we can do, and tonight is very special. It's a night for me and you. This was such a special time, and I will always connect this song with those vivid feelings of extreme excitement. So I want to know, how do you feel about this song? Do you prefer the snippet from 1994, or have your opinions changed regarding this new version? Let me know in the comments below. Next time, we will explore another jewelry of an outtake. This one has been redeemed so much so that it is nowadays even performed by Benny live in concert. Some of you might guess which one it is. Alright, until then, hey då!